For the sake of doodling on a whiteboard, this will do for a raindrop, but if you want to get technical, that's not even close. I'll show you the real shape of rain in this week's Heather's Weather Wise. It's easy to picture rain as a bunch of tiny little teardrop-shaped drips and drops, and why not? That's how it's depicted in most cartoons, illustrations, even our own forecast icons. If raindrops fell at a snail's pace, that might be at least a little bit closer to the truth, but in reality, raindrops are shaped like this. Kind of looks like the top half of a hamburger bun, and the reason why has to do with all the forces around it as it's falling. Let's start at the beginning of a water droplet's life. It begins as a bunch of tiny dust and water vapor particles that are all suspended high up in the atmosphere inside the cloud. Now, as these little water vapor particles glom onto the dust particles, the droplets start to slowly grow. More and more water vapor particles eventually add to it until it forms a droplet shape. But at this point, these water droplets are still so tiny that they're suspended in midair. Fast forward a little bit, and now the droplets are getting too big to stay suspended, so they start to fall. Now, big is a relative term here. They're really only 1 to 3 millimeters in diameter, but as the droplets fall, they start crashing into each other and keep getting bigger and bigger. These bigger water droplets, which again get even bigger as they fall, are experiencing a greater force on the bottom of the droplet from the air that they're falling through rather than on the top. So the bottom of the droplet gets forced into a flat shape and then air flows around to the top. Surface tension is what allows the drop at the top to maintain that more spherical shape. The bigger the raindrop, the greater the forces on it and the more distorted the shape gets. The biggest raindrops, up to 1/4 of an inch in diameter, take on a parachute shape and then eventually split apart into new drops. The whole growth process starts again until... So maybe you'll be able to see our next rainfall in a different way now. Or maybe now you just really want a hamburger. Either way, sounds good to me. I'll be back with another episode of Heather's Weather Wise next week, but until then, remember it's good to be a geek.